Hello, my name is Raymond Karczewski, and I am a living Christ. Today I should like to speak to you about the subject of the living dead. You may ask yourself, why? What is there to learn about such a subject? And the answer, of course, is everything. For each of you who live in your intellects, your conditioned intellects, who form the images of your world, which you project outwardly and unconsciously act according to the conditioning which has followed you throughout life. For you are the living dead. Shocking, isn't it? What makes me say such a thing? Surely you're living. You take a breath. You have sight. You're in possession of your senses. Yet you don't understand why your life is so conflicted. Why you cannot seem to be clear on anything. And when I say clear, I mean you're at one with your projections, as you think you are. A philosopher once said that, but he was touching the periphery of consciousness. He was talking about the intellect. The intellect is the satanic instrument with the lowest end of consciousness that rules human behavior. It's God, the God of intellect, is Satan. For he rules over the kingdom, the fictional kingdom of images, dead images, always based in the after moment of memory, which contains all of the images that have been conditioned into one which seems to facilitate their lives, to facilitate the actions that are taken in one's life. And those who worship that intellect, the researchers, the intelligentsia, the university people, they are dead also. Yet they create the image of excellence in thought. They too worship Satan. For all such people who live in their minds full of images and memories and concepts that have been serving them all their lives are dead. They live not in the eternal moment of truth, the living moment of now, but in the after moment of thought, of belief. There's that word, belief. Why should anyone believe in anything when they are looking at the projection of their own thoughts in the eternal moment of now, and they still can't see? They can't see the truth that's all around them. They prefer the images which they aspire to, based on the past, present, and future. The past is dead. I think all of you will acknowledge that. Yet for most of you, because you live in your intellect, You project the future through the present moment of now, which is stuck in the past, and you try to modify your behavior. You try to change your behavior. You seek to remain in control of your lives, yet for most of you, you are lost. You have no control, and there is your dependence upon experts, upon politicians, upon priests, upon psychologists, psychiatrists, those who study the mechanical mind, the computer intellect, and they profess that that is the ultimate that one can aspire to in this life. And you the living dead, believe it, and thus you accept your place in the enslavement of the human race while you complain of your limitations. Have you not noticed the flush of zombie movies which are affecting your consciousness on the media? You're talking about you, the living dead. See? The living dead, a phrase, is abhorrent to those of you who sit in judgment of your fellow man and consider yourself to be living while they are dead. Have you not noticed the schism that you have created in your own consciousness? The you and the not you? Where the not you is dead and the you is living? Not so. You project your own world by virtue of that which occupies your consciousness. The only thing that is living in consciousness is God. And God is truth, the truth of what is. And if one becomes aligned with that non-dualistic realm of what is, they are aligned with supreme intelligence. They are aligned, and they are at one with God. And they stick out like a sore thumb when they deal with their fellow living dead. Those who believe in God, the concept of God, the idea of God, which is not that which is not holistic, that which is fragmented, limited, can never be God. Yet millions and millions throughout the earth, despite what religion they belong to, are trained to worship that concept, that dead concept that is stored in their memory banks, and which they aspire to. They are always conflicted, they are always divided within themselves, and they project that division outwardly with their fellow man. Thus, you have society, civilized society, a satanic controlled society, where everything is split, divided, and based in opposition. The opposition is the source of the conflict which resonates in your lives, in your consciousness, and you are never free of it. Perhaps there are moments of insight where you cut through all of the dualistic concepts which rule your consciousness, and you see clearly what is. That moment of now, of what is your true state of consciousness. There, conflict does not exist. There is only what is, and you're it. That's Christ consciousness. That is why my words have such a devastating effect upon people who are living in their fragmented intellects, who believe what they believe. That is the source of their God. And they are shocked when they are met with an energy that is non-dualistic truth, which shatters the belief in their fictitious reality. If you look at the anger, the frustration, the envy, the constant rationalizations of those who attack the simple man of truth, because they are faced with the energy that mirrors their dualistic, hellish belief system. I'm speaking about civilized humanity, a hellish humanity ruled by the satanic image that has been conditioned into you, that which you believe in. I know in your minds the idea of truth is what you prostrate yourself before, bow before. You find that you are always being exposed to yourself, yet you resist with everything that you have to acknowledge that. That's the source of your rationalizations. That's the source of your eternal suffering, the pain that you experience when you meet up against the wall that divides you in your consciousness from that which is beyond the wall, the rest of life, the rest of the universe. These are words that I speak that you can understand because you've been trained to respond to the letter of the word. But what's lacking in the civilized man is the understanding of the spirit of the word. It cannot be arrived at through memory-based thoughts, conditioned thoughts, for that keeps you in the hell of your confusion, which promotes aggression, anger, frustration. It's the source of all of the pain of those who live in a civilized world. The wars, the anger of not being able to connect, to understand one another, because the concepts that we hold in our basic memory is always unclear, unwhole, fragmented, and therefore you miss connecting with everything that exists beyond that limited, superficial, fragmented view. You've been introduced to hell. It's been with you all your life, and you still haven't got it yet. You don't understand it. And so you continue in your state of confusion. That my sleeping, somnambulist brothers and sisters makes you the living dead. It is time to awaken. It has been my purpose in life to bring this simple message of truth to you, and it has been resisted for 19 years on my experiences on the internet. No one gets what I say. And the question must be asked, why? I don't speak different words than you, but why do my words have such an emotional impact upon you, upon your psyche, that you resist them? You see, what I just described is the wake-up process, the spiritual wake-up process that one must go through in order to be reborn of the spirit of infinite intelligence, to be aligned, realigned with their lost atonement with truth. That is the Christ consciousness that I speak of. It is holistic, whole, holy, complete. No division. You can notice the energy of my words to have that non-dualistic effect upon your dualistic, conceptually controlled intellect. And that's what's disturbing about our relationship. You see it, you react to it, don't know why you're so frustrated, for I have not put your ideas into your mind. I have merely dispelled the effects that you are experiencing, and you are going to be upset. That is the process of coming to the state of wholeness, to the state of the living man, the living truth. For truth is God, and God is truth. It is what is. The rest of it is your interpretation, your invitation into satanic thinking, the thoughts that you hold in the after moment. If you're living in the after moment of thought, you must see that you are not living in the eternal moment of now, and thus you are living in the realm of death. For the living cannot be found in the after moment of thought. Yet in every civilized society, that is where the average man is living. His requirement for government, to govern him, to tell him what to do, how to do it, to extract his living energy, his production of wealth, all of the things that have gone to the construction of a civilized society come from you. You support it. What can I say to awaken? Unfortunately, I can't say what you want me to say because you're unclear. But you want to have some control in your life. So you reward greatly those who pander to your ignorance, those who entertain you, those who misdirect your attention into activities that give you pleasure, also that give you pain. For in the world of duality, there is always the opposites at work. And it is only the few, those who have the eyes to see and the ears to hear, those are the spiritual, who are coming back, striving to have that. They're still dead, but they are striving to come to the point of living. And it is when you stop all of your superficial, reactionary, dualistic activities, when the intellect comes to silence, that is when you are reborn to the Spirit of truth, to the Spirit of God, Christ consciousness. That's as simple as it is. I can talk to you about it. I can lead you to the source, but I can't make that step for you. It is for you to risk acting to make any real change in your life. We are heading for martial law to solidify the chains of slavery that bind us to our intellects. Most of you really do have no choice but to follow, and you seek friendship, camaraderie with others who are of like-mindedness, not knowing that when you do that, you only solidify the chains that bind you. That habitual way of living must be, the spell of it must be broken. For those who live in that realm are living in an hypnotic spell cast upon them by the satanic mind controllers that have ruled their lives as long as they can recall in their memories. I have been here to tell you that it's all a fiction. It's all just an imaginary flight of fantasy that has made your life into the hell that it is. And it can be broken anytime, instantly. You are not your bodies. Get that. You are not your minds. You must also get that. For those are the vehicles that allow you, the spirit of intelligence, to operate on this plane of existence. Now, that's not something fanciful. I've just told you the unabated truth. And it's inarguable. I will not debate with you. For if I do, I have been invited into the intellect that binds you. I cannot do that. Will not do that. I am at the point where you cannot be as long as you have your fragmented beliefs to guide you. And that is what frustrates you so regarding the simple, liberating message of the Christ, of an holistic living man, a living, breathing, flesh and blood man, living in a divided world of fiction. I have shown what a living man can do in a world of fiction with my experiences with the court system of Oregon, its government, the things that bind you in your consciousness. I have shown them to be imaginary blips in a time-bound intellect. Yet you do not see. Here's your problem. That's where the rubber meets the road. Until you can gather up the energy, the strength, the willingness to break loose, to stop the ever-recurring thoughts that enslave you. Until you can do that, you remain the living dead. I offer you nothing but the truth. What you do with it is your business. Thank you for your time.